Okay. And I think the last thing I mentioned to you on this one here, okay, I'm just going to repeat the few line already I mentioned it to you before I would continue with this one, left few things to finish this section. That about 20, that a skin test proved that such spores can indeed be allergenic. Like, for example, like a hypersensitivity reaction, such as dermatitis or asthma, may occur in part of the body, not in contact with the allergen. And these people may react by developing hay fever or asthma. Already I mentioned that to you. Remember that? Okay, now just continue after this. Left about two paragraphs or something with this regard or more to finish. Now, to continue with this one. Now, the other 80% of the population, okay, okay, the other 80% of the population do not develop allergies. Okay, do not develop allergies so easily. Okay. And basically what happened, of course, in order to develop this, they have to be exposed to a high exposure of spores. And they would require, and they would require exposure, okay, to a higher spore concentration. Okay, to a higher spore concentration. Okay, which is really something around, for example, 10 to the power of 6 to range from 10 to the power 9, okay, spores per cubic meter. Okay. Usually, of course, there are special equipment. You can suck the air and then it can measure what you call the concentration of the spore. Such as occur only, for example, these high concentration occur, okay, such as, okay, occur only, okay, during such events, okay, such events as haymaking, okay, as haymaking, harvesting, okay, or grain handling. Grain handling. And I just mentioned that these concentration, okay, may basically then produce, okay, allergic, okay, we call alveolitis from the alveoli. Okay, and basically resulting okay, and a breath, you call the breath, lessness, okay, and to mention, of course, such sensitivity, okay, is usually restricted, okay, to a single allergen, okay, and the condition is usually, and the condition, okay, uh, is usually related uh, to the person's okay, occupation. Such as, for example, farmer, okay, or for example, like a grain handler, okay. Now, the other point I'm going to mention in this regard, basically, especially for the people who suffering from fungal allergies. Now, sufferers from allergies induced by fungal spores, sufferers from allergies induced by fungal spores, okay, could gain some relief, okay, by moving, okay, to hot or cold deserts, or to mountains, or to the mountains, okay, or by taking an ocean cruise. Cruise, okay. And now, of course, there is another way, basically, when the fungal, sometimes in the season, the spores could increase for some, wheat rust or something like that, that also lead to allergy. To mention this point. Now, very high local concentration of spores, also to mention this point here, very high, okay, local concentration or concentrations of spores, okay, uh, can be encountered, okay, during epidemics, okay, during epidemics, Or fungal plant diseases. Okay, such as wheat rust, or for example, when it called the corn spot and others. Okay, fungal plant diseases such as okay, as wheat rust, or for example, corn spot. Just an example. But of course, any epidemic in which basically could result in the increase of the spore in the air, that also with this one. Now, also to mention other things here with regard to this allergen thing. Now, we call repeated exposure. The other point to mention here, that also repeated exposures, okay, to a high concentration of spores, okay, to a high concentration of spores, okay, from a number okay, of different allergic or allergenic fungi, okay, often, for example, or often, for example, a species which is you are familiar with of of aspergillus and penicillium. Okay, this basically can lead to sensitization and also and could produce acute chronic symptoms. And produce acute, okay, chronic, acute or chronic symptoms. Okay. Okay, and this, of course, the same thing. Most of the time, people who are really handling grains or farmers that basically, or hay, for example, infected with this, that basically where is exposure could occur. Okay, okay, and usually I mention at the acute stage. Mention this point here, the acute stage. Okay, is usually found okay, in harvesters and threshers. Okay. The thresher, basically those people who use the machine to separate the grain and so on. So basically then with those known as threshers, okay? That basically. Now, so basically what mean simply who are briefly exposed. Okay, who are briefly exposed to overwhelming spore load. Okay. Now, and now basically to put a few points as a matter of fact, what is the symptom of exposing sometimes to a very high dosage of spore, okay? Now, the experience, okay? They experience chills, okay? Fever, okay? And generally feel unwell. Okay, feel unwell, okay, but of course after that they will recover, okay, but they will recover, recover, and the chronic stage is found, as I mentioned, is found among silo, okay, okay, among silo and mill workers, okay, and mill workers, and basically in this case, what you call, they don't have a very high exposure, low dosage, but basically on continuous basis, and to mention, and mill workers, okay, who have low level, okay, but constant exposure. But constant exposure, of course, to the allergens. Okay. To the allergens. Okay. Now, these exposure basically what is going to cause? This causes degenerative changes. Okay, just make sure that you are seeing it properly here. This okay, this okay causes degenerative okay changes in the respiratory tract okay, tract, which leads, okay, which leads to obstructions, okay, of airways, okay. And usually what happens here, that patients become breathless, okay, become breathless, okay, uh, after, okay, exertions, and what happen also, and they cough constantly, cough constantly, and also, and feel weak. And sometimes, of course, if that's going to last for a long time, of course, in that case, going to have a serious impact on the person. The chronic stage, okay, maybe a progressive, okay. I guess you finished from this one here. Here, and then just to make sure that, okay, maybe a progressive, and okay, maybe a progressive cause, we call it cause of emphysema, sorry, and eventually, of course, will be fatal. Okay, and do brief. Now, to mention, of course, that in reality, this disease was first described in Canada. Okay, to mention this point with regard to this one here, that this disease was first described in Canada, okay, and is means communist, okay, in temperate regions, okay, where high rainfall, okay, encourages, of course, when you have more, well, like hay is going, of course, after that, going to get moldy. Encourage molding of hay. Okay. And sometimes, of course, you may find also some people who are working in the in the office, and especially if they have, for example, closed system of air conditioning or air, and sometimes all these stuff could be infected with fungi. So basically, without knowing that causes safety. To mention to you, a similar complaint, okay, has been seen, okay, in some, I mentioned in some office workers, okay, in some office workers, okay, when of course when hidden air conditioning system, when hidden, okay, air conditioning system have supported massive growth of similar mold, called massive growth of similar molds. Okay. So basically, this is what we talk about, what we call about the allergens here. I left two sections. I just want to touch a little bit here. Okay. Like the importance of fungi, either, for example, in what you call in biological control, and also a little bit to touch on the use of fungi and what you call in bioremediation. We'll talk about this one here, okay? Try to cover some point here, okay? I just want to touch a few points here, of course, subtitle. Biological control utilizing fungi. Okay. In general, of course, as okay, basically as agricultural product, all basically sometimes encounter with a lot of diseases, either fungi, nematode, and so on. And to mention as agriculturists, to mention to you here as agriculturist, okay, in over to produce, of course, food, food, crops, okay. They are also encountered or comforted, okay, confronted with a number of naturally occurring pests. with a number, okay, of naturally occurring, okay, pests, okay, that include okay, that include, for example, nematodes, insects, weeds, okay, and of course, and pathogenic fungi. Okay. Of course, the problem is most of the time they rely on what you call chemical kind of pesticide, and sometimes, of course, these chemical pesticide it also is not only could affect other species and also could has a negative impact on the environment and so on. And that's why sometimes whenever it's possible, one could use, it's better to use, for example, naturally what they call biocontrol, organism as fungi or sometimes even as bacteria and other things to mention. And to mention, of course, in this regard here, that the great extent, to great extent, to a great extent, as already you know, okay, agriculturist, okay, have relied, okay, upon chemical pesticides, pesticide, and of course, and these are used, okay, because they are easily applied, applied to the crop plants, okay, and of course, and rapidly control the pests. Okay, and simply to mention, of course, that these chemicals are indiscriminate. Sometimes to mention, and these chemicals, okay, are indiscriminate, okay, in their toxicity. Okay, and can, of course, and can harm, okay, beneficial and endangered species as well. Okay, okay. course, as well as also as wildlife. Okay. Of course, the alternative basically is to use what we call sometimes, biological control. But of course, the biological control also requires quite a bit of research, and at night also a technique how to apply them and when to apply them, and it depends also on the weathers and all that, like temperature, humidity, all these factors sometimes could control, because if but however, going to make sure, for example, a great example being used for a natural control of the gypsy moth. To mention, for example, here, to mention, okay, because usually, of course, most of the time the natural biocontrol is much less harmful than these chemicals. So to mention a recent example, okay, which can be found, okay, in the natural control, okay, of gypsy moth. Okay. Which is this one here, okay? So as you can see that here, okay? This is the gypsy moth, sometimes, okay? Now, to mention this one here, now. Because also these insects, when they increase, also they can cause quite a damage to the crops, and to explain some of their impact. Now, this insect can cause a serious problems. Okay, serious problem. Okay, as for example, as a defoliate, okay, forest trees, okay. And to give you this example, for example, in northeastern United States, okay, United States, for example, basically in 1989, okay, the gypsy moth population, okay, the gypsy moth populations were increasing okay, at alarming rate. Okay, at alarming rate after a period okay, this is basically okay after a period of existing at relatively low level of a period okay, of existing is this moth of existing at relatively okay low levels. Okay. Now, basically, what happened here, they noticed, for example, some, this the fungus from the which is attack the insect, the Entomophthalus. It seems it happened that fungi is also seem at the same time were increasing, and it basically start attacking these moths, and of course reduce their population quite a bit. So basically, this is one way of using it as to mention this point here. Okay. Now, a pathogen belonging, okay, to this group, the Entomophthalus, which is, as you remember, this one order from the Zygomycete to the Entomophthalus. Okay, and basically the species in this case for this particle known as Entomophagia meniga. Put it down for you here. Okay. Become active or became active and infected. Of course, infected what you call the gypsy moth, and infected the gypsy moth. Okay, basically in epitic proportions. In epidemic proportions, okay? And of course, that basically resulted, as a matter of fact, that the population of the gypsy moth to decline dramatically, and by this, basically, they save a lot, preserve a lot of these forest tree. To mention, epidemically, okay, declined, okay, to make proportions, and of course, the gypsy moth populations to continue after that, and what happened here now, the gypsy moth. The gypsy moth populations, as a matter of fact, what you call declines dramatically. Okay, decline in this case uh, dramatically. Okay, can you see that? Okay, dramatically. Okay, and of course, this is basically preserved a lot of these, what you call the impact of this, in basically defoliating the leaves. And just to mention, an extensive defoliation was basically preserved, and extensive defoliation was preserved. Okay. Now, usually, of course, the scientists, in order to use what you call this biological control, of course, they have to work on a kind of some basics. I'm going to mention to you here. Now, a few of these one. Okay. Now, scientists attempt to mention this point here. Scientists attempt okay to manage okay the enemy pest relationship, called the enemy pest. That means the relationship between the pest and the host, the enemy pest. Okay. Relationships, basically, they call three basic strategies can be employed. Three basic strategies can be employed. Okay. I think you finished from this one, and then I've got. Did you finish from this one?
Yes.
The old one? Okay, just put it down here so that. Okay, give me a second here. All right. Now these studies, maybe I just will read it for you. It's easy. Okay. Number one, going to mention to you number one. Now, a natural enemy, or just put it down here, a natural enemy. Okay, of that particular pest, or antagonistic, or called antagonistic. Okay. Can be, or a species. Can be important and released. Can be important and can be imported and released. But of course, as I mentioned in the release here, you have to study so many factors, because you're expecting, if you put that fungus or sometime even the bacteria against a special kind of, so in that case, that the condition should also be very suitable for what you call, for these organisms to multiply and attack what you call the pest. Okay, now the other point to mention to you here, the activities of a naturally occurring indigenous enemy, the activities, okay, of a naturally, okay, occurring indigenous enemy can be conserved, okay, or enhanced. Okay. And of course, that what you call the natural control organism have to be what you call the antagonist. The antagonist can be cultured. Okay, can be cultured, to yield, okay, what you call, like we call microbial pesticide. Pesticide, okay, which is basically in this case, of course, consisting, okay, of viable propagules. Propagules, that means use a part to propagate themselves, called propagules. Okay, called propagules. This is E here, that can then be applied, of course, to the crops. Okay, much like chemicals. Okay. Before that, and also the final, you can, I'm going just to read to you, of course, also to mention that also useful control agents, not only fungi, but also could be viruses, bacteria, and also even other kind of insect could attack there. Okay, so all these could be used. It depends what you call when one discover what is really the natural enemy for a particular pest. But of course, need a study and some. So they just what you call an outline to mention of using the fungi as what you call as a natural pest instead. Okay, whatever possibility to use instead of using what you call chemicals or chemical pesticide, because as you know, they are not only because chemical pesticide is going to be more persistent. Sometimes, as you know, they affect the health of the human if not being treated properly or washed properly. Sometimes, of course, have been done. They're going to seep in the soil, and it could be it goes to the underground water and so on. And that's all basically. The more one can try to avoid them, and of course, some of them, as a matter of fact, could also do a damage to the environment and so on. Now, going to be to talk another thing, use of the practical uses of fungi. It is in bioremediation. Going to mention a few points in this regard here, called fungi and bioremediation. Okay. Now, already, as you can see here, going to mention this point here now, industrialization and growing influences in the developed world. Going to make this point here, industrialization industrialization, okay, and growing influence, okay, in the developed world, okay, along with, of course, with population explosion, okay, and rapid development and rapid development in the developing countries. Okay. Of course, has all that has resulted all that basically has resulted in accelerated environmental degradation. In accelerated environmental degradation. Degradation on a large scale. Okay. Now to mention a few points here, of course, let me see now. Okay, let's finish this point here. What happened here, of course, as a result of this, a lot of chemicals basically try lying around it. In addition, of course, sometimes so many other heavy metal and so on, but at least to mention a few points here. Now, as I mentioned, owing to above, for example, owing to the above reason, or reasons, of course, chemicals and solid wastes called chemical and solid waste, okay, management has become a major cause of concern today. Okay. Now, and also since then also, and since also environment, and since environment, to mention this point here, okay, is being loaded okay, is being loaded with large quantities or quantum okay, of contaminants and of course and restricted compounds and restricted compounds, okay, such as, for example, some of them here, okay. One of these compounds known as, for example, polyaromatic hydrocarbons. Like polyaromatic hydrocarbons, or also other compound like polychlorinated okay, biphenyls, this is NY, okay, biphenyls. Other compound also polychlorinated, okay, dibenzoic, dibenzo, okay, para, okay, doxions, okay, well, polychlorinated dibenzo para doxions, okay, and also we have polychlorinated, which basically these are dibenzo, okay, furans, and so on. And plus also we have and heavy metals and so on. And also we have heavy metals. And there is a lot of things really. There are so many things affecting. Basically, in this regard, I don't know if anybody have the time or that next semester I'm giving this course what you call something to do with the environmental issue, and basically we'll discuss all these what you call even sometimes, especially like the cell phone, especially the one being used. Some of they contain quite a bit of cadmium or some could mercury, and you find, of course, sometimes the ways they could send it to China, and they find, for example, most of these people, especially most of the kids, they try to dismantle all these. Usually, they got quite a bit high level of mercuries in their blood and so on. So basically, they're the contaminant all over the place now. And to mention you, okay. To talk about a little bit here, for example, that many conventional physicochemical method treatment, of course, there are many. Okay, to mention here many. Okay, conventional, physico, chemical, okay, methods of treatments to remove these compound this is a general of these compounds, okay. Sometimes, of course, though it could be effective, but also some of them are quite basically cost expensive, so it's not very feasible. And though effective, to mention though effective, okay, but are not feasible, for application on a large scale. Okay. As already you know, for example, I'm going to read for you because I don't have much time, just to mention a few lines here. Of course, all of you know basically that fungi play a major role as a decomposer because they produce enzymes. okay? Fungi, okay, play a major role as decomposers. Now, of course, since there is not enough time to finish all that here, what I'm going to do basically with this regard, not much, but maybe 2 or 3 pages, I will, what you call, I'm going to scan it and send it to you by email to finish this section here. It's okay? So basically, in this case, basically, we'll have a few minutes as a month period. So as I mentioned that fungi play a major role as a decomposer and also as a symbiote in all ecosystems, including soil, aquatic habitat, and so on. So basically, I'm going to what you call to scan some of these important examples also and send it to you by email, yeah, maybe today or tomorrow. And that's by this, I will end your course. So please, okay, just if you have any question, ask me please if you have any ideas or any question you want to know. Okay, and I hope you enjoy the course. All right.
Could you move the page a little bit to the left, please?
This one here? To
Yes.
the left. Just give me a second here. Did you finish off this one? Or not yet? I'm asking you. No?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
so?
we're good on that one.
Yeah, that's why basically I did, so that I can put this one here. Okay, good. All right. Okay, because basically I think it's left only about a few minutes, I guess. Let's make close about 4 minutes. So basically just, okay. So basically this one could happen here. As I mentioned for your essay, I received some essay. I made also a Dropbox for the essay to send it. And also I mentioned that you can send me your essay any day. Just I made extension to the deadline will be what you call the day before your final exam. Okay? And simply I could say have a good day. If you don't have any questions.
Have a nice day.
For you. Bye-bye. Yeah, because it would give you example on what you call a different type of fungi when I will send you here. Okay, so it should be okay.